I wake up every day thinking there are so many more talented people than me, and like, who am I to think that anybody would give a shit about what I want to say or have to say? It's just like looking in the mirror and saying, you got this. You have to tell that other guy to shut the fuck up. So that's the simplest way to put it, is just kind of like having like a silent conversation in my head, just saying, shut up, stop. You've got to just keep going forward. This is some fairly good stuff, so we're going to take a little bit of it and share it with the band later. Actually, this is all for me. They're going to they'll be drinking Jim Beam. There are great things and not so great things about the community here in Austin, and I think they've actually gotten better since I started. I feel like there was kind of this there's sort of like a certain sort of clickiness to the culture here when I was younger in the music scene that I don't think exists as much anymore. I feel like things have gotten much more inclusive. I don't know, maybe I made that up in my head when we were trying to break through in the Austin music scene, just because we had such a tough time in Nello. It was a rock band, and it just didn't seem like a rock band, mainstream rock band, was welcome. It was more of like either an alternative scene or a blues scene, and I think things have really broadened since then.
Was that clickiness that you felt, do you think it was to protect the community?
Yeah, totally. I think, the community was built on blues and country, like outlaw country, I think. I mean, that's a simplistic way to put it, but yes, I do. I think that the city took pride in those genres that kind of helped grow the city's music scene to begin with. I quit Nello in 2014 or something like that, and kind of felt like I had finished my musical journey. I don't know. I mean, I clearly was wrong, and I tried to get into the restaurant business. My wife, her family is in the restaurant business here in Austin, so I started trying to kind of learn that business, and it just wasn't for me. I became kind of more and more, not depressed, but just, I clearly was missing music. And then I wasn't a guitar player, I wasn't a songwriter, I just sung in Nello. So I just felt kind of stuck, but then somebody presented the opportunity to me of kind of jumping ahead a few rounds in the Voice audition process. That kind of spurred me back into the music scene, or into trying to pursue music as a like a lifestyle or a career or whatever. Let's try this one. This one's like 2 minutes long, so did the groceries. We did the before we leave.
I have the tables in my car.
Okay, we can put them in my car. We've done everything. Now all we have to do is rock.
And roll.
Right, George?
Oh.
Yes.
All right, buddy. Matt in Nello was the creative force. He wrote all the songs and was the producer on all the records, or at least co-producer. The process of going through the Voice and then realizing I have to become a self-contained unit. I don't want to depend on somebody again to create. I need to be able to do all of this in-house. So I had to learn to play the guitar. I had to learn how to write songs. I had to find a band to record, and a producer. Brian Douglas Phillips is who produced the record, and the record would not be what it wouldn't sound anything like the way that it does without him and the other guys that played on it. It's called Sweating Your Balls Off 2.0.
This ain't no empty praying for the morning after. This ain't only night of love.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I started writing the record in like 2019, and then I met up through my friend Fred, the drummer in the band. He is part of this production unit that works out of Brian, the producer's garage, and it's Fred and Brian and Jacob Hildebrand. He's the guitar player, and so everything you hear musically on the record is played by 3 people. That part constantly blew me away as we were producing and making the album. I mean, and they would just lay these sonic palettes and then build on top of them in a way that was always exceeded my expectations. Brian seemed to really understand. He seemed to conceptualize sonically how to communicate the message of the songs better than I could. The way that he chose the instrumentation and helped me rearrange some of the songs too was like, it was just perfect.
I'm good.
Yeah? You gonna stick around for the show?
I'm going to stick around.
Okay, good.
That's saying something, guys.
That is saying something.
Nice and chilly. There you go. Give a lime soda there.
It's called Summer Heartache.
The inspiration initially was The Cure. The Cure, like specifically Friday I'm in Love. I wanted to write a song that was just like super kind of joyful, but the lyrics aren't exactly happy. But yeah, I mean, everybody in high school or maybe in junior high had that. You went to a summer camp or went to a vacation to the beach with your family and fell in love with this girl, and shit didn't work out. You're supposed to feel love the way that, or love lost, kind of in the fashion of a teenager. It's not the deepest, most like earth-shattering loss, but it still sucks.
Got no use for mid-October. You like the summer and the August moon. She liked you better sober. Now she's saying war in the arms of another. Just another summer heartache. Yeah. It's just another summer heartache. It's just another summer heartache. Yeah.
The thing that I struggled with the most was the speed that they worked at. Brian had built a budget, or he'd built a timeline to fit my budget, which meant that we had to do 2 songs a day. So we would spend like 4 hours on each song, and when I was in Nello, we would spend 4 hours on like a snare sound. The idea of rushing through the songs like that really freaked me out because I was so used to beating a dead horse, and to the point that nothing was fun. And so this was the exact opposite, and I had to really, really get used to like pretty much just going with gut instincts constantly because we didn't have time to like second guess anything.
All right, we got a time for a couple. Where are you going? Okay, good. That's a good excuse. Oh, a major and a minor key. Oh, Roy Alice's.
Not Me, Not You. I was watching a documentary on Laurel Canyon. I think it was The Byrds, or maybe it was just Roger McGuinn from The Byrds. But he was playing this tune that had all these kind of 60s era chord changes. and it reminded me of this song called Incense and Peppermints, which is another song from the 60s. And I was like, okay, I want to see if I can write a song like that. So it kind of has like a real sort of swinging 60s Austin Powers vibe to it. But the lyrics are pretty much just stream of consciousness. But I guess I have no idea what that song's about.
It's the things you thought you knew, falling through the cracks on the faded face of you. It's a breeze, I can't you see? I can't you see? Baby, it's not you. Yeah, all right, thanks a lot.
The trust comes in like chapters, because at first they're strangers, but then you realize pretty quickly, he and I are about the same age. We grew up listening to almost all of the same music, which that creates so much trust in and of itself, because you know you're coming from the same place. Like your ideas are going to be pulled from the same well. And then after that, it's just like him hitting home run after home run, and you're just like, well, I don't even need to worry about this. This guy's got it. And Jacob and Fred too, they all just really understood what I wanted to do with the songs. I would from time to time bring Matt musical ideas and Nello, or like melodic ideas. And the chorus of Wild One was written in like 2006. And I've had it forever. I brought it back out. I listened to the recording from 2006 and then came up with the verse and the bridge. And it's about two guys really that I went to high school with. But this one guy drove a van with one headlight, and he would just like drive at 90 miles an hour. Just the kinds of guys in high school that you already know, even though you're young and have never even considered death, that guy's not going to live to, 30. So it's just about those kinds of people who are in your life and are a lot of fun maybe to be at a party with, or but they're dangerous. They're like, you don't want to get too close to those guys.
After a while, you made your way. Drifting out on a course on your own, and always seeing how connections are easy like the trigger on a gun. A head full of fire.
It was a song that has a bunch of guitar layers. What I learned later was that he was planning like 6 layers ahead. And so he was laying down a bed for what was going to be this incredible like sonic palette. I had to really bite my tongue because I didn't like what he was doing. And I was just like, this does not sound like what I want this song to sound like. After the process was over, I realized exactly what he was doing on that first take. And that was the moment where I really calmed down and wasn't so concerned about like micromanaging to a certain degree, which I had been before that moment, but that taught me to just shut up and let them work, because they really have it down. My favorite part about working with Brian was there was just a lot of symbiosis going on, and there were several times where I would bring maybe not the exact same song, but like a song off the same record. Like, for instance, All Your Dreams. We both had a particular Wilco record in mind, and we'd never talked about it. So that like there were a lot of those moments where we were just like kind of finishing each other's sentences in a way that I thought I didn't take for granted. It was very, very cool.
the guitar there.
All I Need is about Jenna. It's pretty simple. It's like a country song, really. It's about looking around and being happy with where you are, but being most happy when you're with the person you love.
Does she provide a lot of support for you in your music?
Yeah. Yeah.
Down the river, yeah, it's a light to me. And I feel the sun. It's warm on my body, and I know it's all.
I don't know how I am such a sensitive person. If I had any inkling that she was resentful or like didn't jive or understand what I was trying to do, it would be really, really tough for me to do it. I would feel too bad about driving her crazy, but she loves it, and I think she loves performing with me, and we sound good together. It's pretty amazing.
Ain't no use in complaining. Ain't got a lot to prove. Ain't nothing here to replace or compare to the love I have for you. Forgiven, changes always seem, but we gotta love through all kinds of weather, and I know it's all I need. Yeah, we gotta like, we're always forgiven.
In Nello, in a weird way, it was maybe a lot of self-imposed pressure and an unwillingness to step back and enjoy things. It was always like we're not where we need to be, constantly frustrating instead of just pulling back and saying, "This, you're doing what you want to, what you love for a living." I think that was age too, being a little more grateful, being a little older, and being able to realize, dude, this is a really incredible experience that you're having. You need to be sure to have a good time while you're doing it.
Artistry and being a musician, what do you fear the most?
Oh, that's a great question. A lot of things. I fear never being able to write another song again. I am afraid of not creating my own space, just kind of doing what everybody else is doing, which I'm not sure that this record is super original, but it has my personality on it, that's for sure. The creative part of, like the mystery surrounding writing songs that you're proud of is really tough to live with. It's like, I'm always thinking about it. Like, why haven't I written a song and I'm a week or a month, and when am I gonna am I ever gonna feel inspired to again? And then inevitably you do, but that's the thing I think I fear the most is like, did I just did I spend all of my creative energy on this record, and then, is that gonna be it?
Hey, honey, don't you see now? We got just one time wrong.
Man, I do feel like time's flying by, and it's a major problem for me. Like on a existential level, it drives me crazy, and it makes me very sad. In those particular situations, on a night like a record release show at Arlyn Studios, it's like a lot easier to, especially when you're up there, to check in and enjoy the moment. Like the social stuff surrounding the party is kind of a whirlwind. The after party's fun. It's just the lead up. It's not so much fun sometimes. But I hardly ever have a tough time once we're actually performing, not being able to really enjoy the moment.